I've never been one to just blame the refs, but the officials we had in both the state semifinal and in the state final a few days later were absolutely awful. And especially after the head official stressed in the captain's meetings, he would not make a call or give a penalty to decide the game. But in double overtime, in the 110th minute, just seconds away from shootouts, he did just that. But before we could get to this point, let's take a deep rewind into State Line's max run, showing how we became the first team in school history to clinch the number 1 seed. We opened up our max play on the road against Springfield. After a scoreless first half, we eventually blew the second half wide open. Our second game was also on the road against Faith Clinton. After TJ's early goal, we had to fend off a last-minute corner to preserve the lead and get the win. Next, we played Faith Davison, and I was watching this game from the sidelines, as just a few days prior, I sustained my shoulder injury.
I remember being frustrated at our strikers for not scoring. In fact, in that game, coach put me up on striker for 5 minutes, and I scored the only goal of the game. We should have beat them 4 or 5-0.
In game number 4, we hosted Rochester Hills. We dominated possession, winning by the score of 2-0.
Space! That's it!
Our 5th max game was against Juniata Christian on a neutral field at Springfield. It was a rematch to last year's state final, where we had won 7-2. But this was also the same team who handed our first max loss the year previous as well, making them the number 1 seed and us number 2. Game 6, of course, was the one we'll never forget.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Come on.
never given up a lead before. After taking a 2-0 lead, then conceding 3 goals, we rallied late. Up to this point, we were 15-0 every time we scored first. Clinching the number 1 seed earned us home field advantage in the first round, where we faced Rochester Hills again and won 4-0. We then had the rematch with Troy Bethany in the state semifinal. Having come back from a 1-0 deficit, tying the game later in the second, going through 2 overtimes, we won the game in shootouts, 2-1. We weren't just the first team in state line history to earn the number 1 seed. We had the opportunity to become the first team to win back-to-back state titles.
I felt like we had gotten through Troy Bethany. We were going to win this whole thing. We had a lot of games that season that were close games, and we had come out on top. We had beaten every team in the MAX. I honestly thought we were going to win back-to-back championships.
Could we pull off the repeat, or would the chance of that happening get cut short?
Going into the championship game against Faith Davison, I honestly felt like we were going to win.
I remember it was an extremely cold game, winds up to 30 miles an hour.
The only problem was Faith Davison had 1 player. This guy we respected. He was our grade. We had seen him since junior high. He was a good player. He played soccer all year round. And I knew that if we could stop him, we would stop their whole team.
The ref was calling touch fouls the entire time.
The official did not lose us that game throughout the game, but that official was terrible. There was foul after foul after foul given on us, and we got to the point where I think some of us lost our heads. I remember Todd got really frustrated, took the goalie out in the box, got a card. I even managed to get a card later, and I don't even remember what I did. Fans were yelling at the officials. Our coaches were yelling at the officials. We were yelling at the officials. Really, we stopped worrying about Faith Davison, and we were too consumed with the officials probably. Could not break them down. We ended up going to overtime, and once again, most of the time we were the aggressors, and they were just sitting back, and every once in a while they would just send a long ball and hope that that kid could somehow break down our defense. Mentally, in the second part of overtime, thought we were going to penalty kicks. I didn't think any team would score. They couldn't get anything going. We couldn't get anything going. It was just a battle that was in the middle of the field, and really no one was getting any chances. And then I remember watching their player go down the field. We had plenty of guys back. It looked like he got bumped a little on the box. And that ref blew the whistle on a penalty kick. There's no way that ref makes that call. We have 4 guys back on defense. That guy has no chance of scoring.
Oh, we just called him. People called him. Come on, Jason. What are you thinking about, Jason? Come on, Jason. Let's go, Jason.
I don't even know if I yelled. I just think I was just like, that's just stupid.
I remember standing over the official as he was marking the penalty stripe. I said, what happened to not making a call to decide the game? He blew it off and told me to make sure my heels are on the back of the line. Over the course of my soccer career, I had an obsession with penalty shootouts, and I would study the way shooters would approach the ball, the way their bodies moved, so that I could see when they opened up which way I needed to go to. And statistics show that most shooters kick opposite of their shooting foot. With all this knowledge, all this time spent preparing, I forgot all of that in the moment. I had a perfect 3-0 record in shootouts, but in-game penalty kicks, I only stopped 1 of 3.
That ref bailed him out on just a slight bump. I was shocked, and honestly, as soon as that happened, not that I didn't trust Jason, I just knew that this kid is not gonna miss. He was too experienced, too good. I just knew it's over. And so even before the shot, I was mentally preparing myself for the frustration. I was mentally preparing myself to try to control my temper. And I was trying to make peace with what had happened in my mind already.
Guys, get the rebound! Get the rebound! This is you, Jay! This is you, Jay! Hey, Frosty, get ready for the rebound, bro! Jason, let's go! Let's go, Jason! That's on you, Rob! That's on you! How do you make that call?
I don't think I really said anything. I mean, there's not much you can say. I do think the ref robbed us of a chance of penalty kicks. But you know what? We didn't score, and we hadn't done our job against a team that I felt like was definitely inferior to us. I remember after the game, some of our fans chasing down the refs in the parking lot. It was chaotic. Honestly, it was heartbreaking watching the other team celebrate when I knew deep in my heart that this team was not better than us. For them to be bailed out at the end, it just was heartbreaking. I remember leaving the field. It's a memory I'll never forget. I wish I could forget it. I always think it's funny you remember the bad losses more than sometimes you remember the good wins.